Find out where I have Nick Walker.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. And we're back and we're live for another edition of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by the technician Chris Aceto, and we are inching ever closer to the Olympia weekend, Chris, and the excitement is drumming up. A lot of people are making a lot of predictions, and a lot of people are trying to like handicap where the top 5 or 6 guys may wind up when it's all said and done. But this past weekend, we had the Rising Phoenix show, which we had an exchange of champions. We'll be talking about that in a minute. And we have the North American coming up this coming weekend, and I am going to be there, actually. It's kind of like a 4 or 5 day show. I'm going to be there Wednesday through Monday, so it's a long, long weekend for me in Pittsburgh. But where were you today? You got in pretty late, huh?
I brought my son to college.
Oh, back to Vermont. Okay.
Yesterday, backtrack, I went to Skip Robinson's 80th birthday party.
I thought you were going to get Skip here as a surprise guest, actually.
Well, he's in bed by 6.
He's still in bed by 6, yeah.
So Skip Robinson has, I think, the best. I think his memory is twice as good as Jay Cutler's.
Tell people who Skip Robinson is in case they don't know.
Skip Robinson won the IFBB Mr. World in 1976. He got me started. I told the story many times before. I ran into him somewhere, and he took me under his wing, and I went to train with him. And the story about going to train with him, I'd already been training, which I sent you Dave pictures. I'll tell the story of a rig show. I'll try to make it quick. So Skip told me he was a very well-known bodybuilder, fantastic personality. Because he's got such a great personality, he's maintained friendships with Arnold, and it's such a small world. Dave, I met him, and within 6 days, he was saying, well, Ed Connor's probably going to give you a call in a couple of years. And I'm like, who's Ed Connor? He was Ed Connor's first house guest.
That's incredible.
First or second.
I love the story about how you trained with him, what you would do every morning. You got to tell people, even though we've told the story before.
I was his 80th birthday, and I was on vacation, and he had a birthday on the beach in Old Orchard Beach, and I was staying at my Airbnb in Old Orchard Beach, which I've had for 17 years. And, no degrees of separation. He was having his party about 200 yards where I had my original condo in Old Orchard Beach, where Jay used to come up and spend a lot of time up in Old Orchard Beach.
Did you know he was going to be there, or was that planned for you, or was it?
Yeah, it was a birthday party, his 80th. And essentially it was the whole entire gym moved to the beach, except me. I was like the only person who doesn't train there. And Skip is so on his memory, Dave, it might be one of the greatest in history. What he can remember details about details. So, except he forgot to tell me when I was 15 years old, he used to run the gym at the University of Southern Maine, and I couldn't get into the gym because you had to be a student or 18.
Right.
And I was 15. So he said, meet me at the gym at 5:30. We'll train together. It's like meeting Arnold and Arnold saying, the very next day, you and I are going to be training partners. Meet me at 5:30. We're going to train. So I show up to meet Arnold, Skip at 5:30. My mother drops me off. I don't have a driver's license. I wait. Nothing. The next day, I wait. Nothing. I finally call him and I say, Skip, I've been waiting for you for 5:30. He says, I'm there. My mother does it one more time. Then I think he's crazy. So I call him again. begging. He said, 5:30 in the morning. And so I asked my mother, I said, can you take me to the gym can you get up at 5? And she just gave me a look like this, Dave. She didn't even answer. So I said, that's okay. I'll walk. So I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to cook my first meal to be able to walk to the gym to meet him at 5:30. But I couldn't wait to get there because it was like Arnold.
Yeah.
And I trained with Arnold. I mean, I trained with Skip and Skip in those days. Skip wore fur jackets and cowboy boots and cowboy
he was cool.
hats.
He was cool. Yeah, he was cool.
He was beyond cool. He had a Jeep, Dave, that said "Pump and Iron" on the front of it. This big.
Oh my God!
It was like pimped out.
You probably thought it was the coolest thing of all time. I'm sure too.
Oh yeah, and the license plate said "Mr. World" on it.
Oh my God!
And that was
he was your Steve Mahalik, yeah.
Yeah, that was my training partner. So I saw him, and a 77-year-old man, Skip's 80, and I met Marty Joyce there, who just broke the world record in powerlifting. And I had my Casey Vieta moment. Marty, who's 77, said, I thought you were mad at me from 1985 to 1989. And I said, what? For what? He said, because I was running the Mr. Maine bodybuilding show, and I wouldn't let you compete in the open when you were 18. And I said, Skip let me compete. Skip intervened.
He didn't remember?
Yeah, of course he did. And he gave an executive order, a Trump executive order, and said, nope, Chris has been training for this with me.
Right.
He's doing the open. And Dave, I found out my vendetta, my Casey Vieta moment, I found out by Bob Gruskin, like 2 years later, that I won that contest.
Look at that picture, Chris. Skip Robinson with Bruno Sammartino. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
So you won. So is that the contest you sent me the pictures of that I'm supposed to put up?
Yeah. So I was 18 there. And so the guy next to me the 77-year-old says to me, I thought you were mad at me for 4 years. And I said, no, I was mad because I didn't get into it with them, that they fixed the contest. The person who was in the AAU who was organizing the judging from Massachusetts. He's the same guy who had in 85 the Mr. World in Worcester, Mass.
Okay.
Samir won.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the same year. Wait a minute. It's the same year that the show was rigged against me. And Samir entered the contest. It was big money then, like $50,000 in prizes. And when Samir went to get his check, they gave him a check for $42,000, and he said, where's the other $7,000? And they said, oh, it's a $7,000 tanning bed.
What? What?
Samir went to the promoter's house.
Oh my God.
Get his money.
Oh, that's funny.
What I had heard from Bob later was that there was a rule that they didn't want teenagers to compete in the open. Apparently because Victor Terra had done that and was killing all the open guys. And guess who else was? Quinn in the AAU in Massachusetts.
Right, Quinn. That's right. Quinn was in the AAU too. Yeah.
So the unwritten rule was no teens in open. And
gotcha.
but you can't say no to Skip. Dave, and there's one more crazy part of this story, the craziest part. There's another picture I sent you too.
I put them up, yeah. It's 3 pictures, right?
Yeah. So the other crazy part of that story is we get to the pre-judge in 1985, and we were talking at Skip's party. They used to sell out the auditorium, like 1,800 people. And the pre-judging goes to start, and for some reason it was at the University of Maine. The gymnasium was booked, and they didn't know to the last minute. So there was nowhere to have the pre-judging. So they had a pre-judging without the audience in this little room.
Oh my God.
Wait, it gets better, Dave. So my father has no interest in bodybuilding. Who shows up?
Your father.
Pre-judging? My father. And they said, oh, you can't come in.
Oh boy. Wrong answer. Right?
You're telling Rocco Aceto, the big troublemaker, you can't come in. And so the guy who had the unwritten rule, I forget his name, Jerry Scalise would know it.
Yeah.
You got into it with my father, and they said absolutely no exceptions. There was another Skip executive order. It was
Right.
like the judges and my father.
Your father was the only person in there?
There were maybe 4 other people.
Was that the only time your dad ever saw you compete?
No, he saw me compete. Yeah, that was the only time he saw me compete. Yeah.
Well, at least he had his own private seat there. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So.
And you got ripped off. Off.
Yeah. So Bob had told me years later that they were pissed that I got to enter the Open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I heard. That's what I heard, from Bob.
It's weird. It's kind of like the way we feel today about the 212 guys entering the Open class, right?
Yeah.
They're winning all the Open shows now, the 212 guys.
And that's it. But today I took I took Fareed to University of Vermont, and it's ridiculous. He's got a show in 12 weeks. I said, you only have to pass, but you have to stay on your diet.
Hey, look at this picture I found on Skip's page. See if you can name all these people. Let's see. Maybe our viewers can name some of these people. Hold on. Here we go.
John Hansel named all of them. Call them up.
Yeah. This is pretty easy, but who's that? Who are all those guys?
Oh, that's Armand. That's Joe Weider, Lou Ferrigno, Skip in the background beaming.
Yeah.
Who I can't see with my glasses because I can't see crap.
I don't know who those other 2 guys are. Does he have them listed in the thing?
The other guy to the left with the big arm is he was Mr. America when there was just the AAU.
That's Manny Perry? I didn't even know what Manny Perry looked like when he was beat.
Perry. I think he was a stunt double for Lou Ferrigno in
in the Hulk?
Yeah, in the Hulk.
Yeah, it was Lou's stunt double. That's what it says there.
And Skip was one of the first people to get a contract from Joe.
Really? He had a contract?
Yeah, and Joe asked me about Skip. The minute I told Joe I was from Maine, he said, "Oh, you know Skip?" I said, "Of course I know Skip."
That is so funny. Denny Gable. That's the other guy. Mr. Western America.
Yeah, Denny.
Why does that name sound familiar? Who is Denny Gable? We really need John Hansen here now.
Oh, he was big time in the day,
Yeah. Denny Gable. What a great picture that is. Blackman wishes he had pictures like that with all the guys, Oh my God. How funny. Well, so Skip was, how many people were at this party you went to?
Oh my God. It's like because Skip's like royalty, like 150 to, and he can tell you the history of like Dave Palumbo, if he knows you, he could tell you the history. He could name your first dog, your second dog, your first cat, first snake you had. How much? It's incredible.
That's great. That is awesome.
And he loves to brag. He loves to not brag, but self-deprecate because he says, I after the Biden debate, he called me and he said, I used to want to keep a 6-pack and keep some shoulder size, but after seeing someone my age, that sad on the podium, I'm just glad my faculties.
I understand what he's saying. What'd you think of the whole announcement that RFK is now, kind of endorsing Trump, and he'll probably be in the cabinet in some position? I was kind of happy.
I don't think endorsements, I don't sway voters really.
Well, but he pulled himself out of the off the ballot in the close states where there's a.
But he probably would have been a more spoiler for Democrats,
I don't think so. I think a lot of people thought he was going to take Trump votes.
People associate still, no matter what his policies are, if if they're to the right of middle, the name is still a Democratic name. So that's the tag that people still give him because people don't pay that.
Yeah. I like this arrangement because, I liked Kennedy because I wanted him to clean up, the the NIH, and I wanted him to clean up big pharma, and I wanted him to do all that. And it's hard to do that when you're president because you have a lot of other stuff to deal with. I think if Trump puts him in charge of doing all that, cleaning up the whole government corruption, and let Trump just focus on foreign affairs and the economy, I think they work well together. I think it's a good team. I hope Trump gives him a cabinet position, which it seems like he is.
Yeah, so. that's the whole point of an endorsement. It's for
sale.
Yeah, all for sale. Well, I don't think it's an endorsement. It's all for sale.
Oh yeah, I know, but I think it's a good arrangement. I think they align themselves in certain policies,
If Kennedy thought Harris was going to win, he'd endorse Harris, and he'd also be ponying up for a position. That's the way it works.
Well, yeah, but no, I don't think that the Democrats are aligned with any of his policies. They don't want to fix big pharma.
No,
they don't want to.
But if he thought she was going to win, he would in a.
I don't agree with that because I don't think he would feel that he would be able to do the things that he wants to do under her administration because they would put a gag on him. You know what I mean? They might give him a position, but they would put a gag on him. He wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
At least Trump's willing to say, yeah, you can do you. I want to clean this shit up anyway. If you want to do it for me, that's great. Well, make him the attorney general like his father.
Trump invented the vaccine, and Kennedy hates the vaccine. So what is the point?
No, Kennedy,
card is anti-vaccine.
Yeah, but you know what? I think Fauci completely bamboozled fucking Trump, which I think Trump to this day regrets.
That you know what?
Well, who are you going to listen to when there's a pandemic? You know what I mean? The biggest mistake Trump made was closing all the businesses.
Don't fall under the impression that you're that Trump is this mega strong leader, and then I'll hand it off to Fauci. Well, which one is it?
You know what? Though? He didn't know what was going on, and he got bamboozled. You know what? Fauci bamboozled everyone. And you know what? They should go after him now and investigate him. Just like he tried to shut everyone else down, they should go after him. And I think Kennedy's the perfect person to do it, to be honest with you. He wrote the book about Fauci. He knows what he's all about. Yeah. Let fucking RFK go after him. That's what they should do. All right. We got a changing of the guard in the Rising Phoenix. Every year for the last couple of years, Chris, we've talked about the Rising Phoenix show, which we were saying how great it is that they give away so much money. And it's, an Olympia qualification. They give away a car and everything like that. And you know what? This year, Andrea Shaw, who is the reigning Miss Olympia, reigning Rising Phoenix champ, lost to Angela Yeo.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show you that, and I've said that, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, but who was the head judge?
Good question.
It'd be interesting to know who the head judge is. Yeah. And it doesn't, I mean, it does matter. I guess it doesn't matter. I just wanted to point out.
I would say probably Sandy Rinaldi, Sandy Williamson, I would say.
You know what? She judged what she saw.
Yeah.
In other words.
Let's look at some of the pictures. We pull up some pictures. Let's pull some comparisons. You and I were very impressed with, if you remember, let me pull up these pictures here first. Yeah, with Ashley Jones. Remember her pro win? She had a few. Yeah, remember how good she is? Yeah. She was third. So there's a very good top four.
Yeah.
Top three at the show. And I think that's what we're going to see at the Olympia. So this is a preview. I have to say, I think this might be the best top three in women's bodybuilding that we've seen since the Iris Kyle era. Wouldn't you say?
I would say.
I mean, this is not the Olympia, but we're going to see them at the Olympia, obviously.
Well, it's not the Olympia, but it's Olympia level everything.
Yeah.
Olympia level conditioning and Olympia level, you name it.
Yeah. So here's the let's put this up. Here's Andrea on the left. Is it coming up? Oh, there's Andrea on the left. Yeah. Jones in the middle, and then Yeo on the right. Oh, Becky Clausen was head judge according to Sid. And who do you like in this front double?
For the shape, but she's not quite as hard. The girl in the middle.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's got she's a little shorter, but you're right.
Yeah, she's got big arms, big legs. I mean, you can see that she's not probably the hardest of the three, but Ashley Jones.
Yeah, I like her. You're right. I think she does.
That physique is pretty darn impressive right there.
Yep. Well, let's pull up.
And as we always say, because I do go to shows once in a while, photos are not reflective of the way people actually look in person. So, I mean, she could be a lot softer than the other two. I'm not sure.
Right.
But I'm based on flow and shape, I like her in that frontal bicep. Not saying she wins the show, but she looks darn impressive there.
All right, let's pull up side chest here. I can get that to come up.
I'd have Nick Walker fourth in that call out right there.
We're not ready to start trouble in there. Yeah. All right. Side chest.
Yeah, I can't judge this show. She's got the physique right there in the middle.
Yeah, I think definitely Ashley Jones has the best balance of physique.
Balance and flow.
I don't like the way Io hits that side chest shot. She kind of
very, very strange. And you know what? Some judges despise when you hit very unconventionally a pose. You see it, right?
She's so hard. I don't know why she's hitting it like weird
well,
like that.
Maybe she's just showing that, and then she pulled into it later.
I looked at a few, but I looked at the serial pictures. There's a lot of pictures. We got to get Kenny Wallach to help her out on that one a little bit.
Yeah, Kenny will add. It'll be 300,001 wins.
You're funny, Chris.
Only Trump has more wins than Kenny. My head spins when I see Kenny, because Trump says you're going to win so much. We're going to win so much. Your head's going to spin.
I've sent a lot of people to Kenny, and Kenny's helped a lot. There's some people that their posing is so atrocious, I want to throw up. I don't even try to help I send them right to Kenny. Who do you like in back double? I like Ashley Jones here too.
Yeah, I have Ashley winning every shot.
Yio's got insane.
No, I know the girl probably on the right is just so hard that.
Oh, she is. You look at those glutes and hams, yeah.
Yeah, the win of that, it just probably negated heavily, just the quote better physique there.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go into shows, and conditioning is important, but
looking at this shot here, okay, this probably defines the conditioning that all three women were in. There's still 5 or 6 weeks to the Olympia now.
Seven. Don't push it, Dave. Don't push it.
Oh, what is it? 6 weeks? 7 weeks?
Okay. Of that. Seven.
7 weeks to the Olympia. Obviously, Andrea doesn't need to be Io doesn't need to be any tighter here. This is a great look for the Olympia. If Andrea Shaw and the other girl, Ashley, come in tighter at the Olympia, will the placings change in your estimation, given the structures you're seeing?
I think they could change.
Or is she this good? Is she good enough to take these girls out at the Olympia?
I mean, she's good enough to take them out, but at the same time, a lot can go good and a lot can go bad in 7 weeks.
Yeah. All right, let's pull up the back.
Sometimes, Dave, too, it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard for people to hold a condition for 7 weeks. Maybe not women, but men, it seems like it's hard to hold something for 7.
Yeah. Now, Ashley Jones looks a little like a female Kai Green, doesn't she?
You mean when Kai was when he had?
No, I mean a female version of Kai Green. Glutes, the back, the way the back is attached.
Yeah.
The legs. She looks like a female version of Kai. I mean, structurally, she's got a short torso, crazy lat width.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, Io wins here on conditioning. She's just like Dorian grainy here. I have to imagine
Dorian would not agree with that, but
no, he would think he's harder. I would have to imagine Andrea was not pleased, with the fact that she came in here and she didn't win. I mean, she probably didn't think that it was going to be close, and I'm sure she's peaking for the Olympia, but there's no such thing as peaking you peak for every show. That's the way I look at it. What do you think is going through her head? Is she going to be remotivated to come back? You think?
Yeah, she can be pissed. Not doesn't mean pissed at judges, just pissed at this second is 5th is okay, second's terrible for people. and you've been second, Dave. You get it. It's easy to get a fifth and say, you know what, I was off, or I wasn't close. But second is just always, no matter who it is, it's a tough swallow.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, after when you're Miss Olympia.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's going to be on her quadruple A game.
What was the last time we saw a sitting Miss Olympia lose in a show?
I think when Linda lost to, no, maybe not a sitting.
No, it's probably before that. We probably had I don't know.
Maybe Linda lost to Iris. I don't know. Iris lost to, might have. I mean, it's happened, but it's infrequent.
Let's look at this pose. Let's look at front lat spread.
It's what was the prize money? What was
4 straight Olympia titles, 4 straight Rising Phoenix titles for Andrea Shaw before the loss. Sid, find out what they made for the show and if there was any other gifts given away.
Make sure it was cash and not a tanning bed.
Tanning bed. There's Ashley Jones. Great front lat spread.
Yeah.
Look, you know what?
Her one is rock hard.
Yeo was the hardest girl in the show. We always say it, conditioning wins shows a lot of times when all other things are equal. I think, like you said, Ashley Jones probably has the best structure. Andrea probably is put together, the best. And I bet you if Andrea was in the shape that Yeo is in, I think that, we might be calling the show a lot differently than we are now. But, look, it's exciting when, someone loses who's reigning champ, because now she's got 7 weeks to get redemption. And the question is, does she do it or does she screw it up? That's the question.
Yeah, well, we'll have to find out. It makes for a female bodybuilding fan. It makes it super exciting, right?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I kind of lost interest a little bit in the female bodybuilding only because we haven't seen a lineup where it was competitive. It's like it took a long time to get back to that place where we can say, holy mackerel, we have a top 3 or top 2 girls that are well matched up and that are really challenging each other to a point where we have to actually sit and try to figure out who's going to win the show. Here's the last pose, ab thigh. I like Ashley.
I know you're going to say that, Dave.
But Yeo's got those insane. It almost looks like someone drew her abs in there, so they're so defined.
Yeah.
So
the girl all the way to the left is pretty impressive too. I mean, you don't really see her on the screen.
Yeah, that's Adcock. Yeah,
she's very good.
She's got she's a little short, but she's got a lot of muscle on her body too. Yeah, so she finished in the 5th position. So congratulations to all the ladies. Sid, did you get that figure out that prize money yet? Oh, there's our former Olympia champ in the physique division, Natalia Coelho, saying congratulations to the ladies. I hear this is Sid. Rising Phoenix money, 50 grand, first place, second place, 25 grand, third place, 12.5. So that's more than most the men are getting, right? In most of the shows.
Yeah. Second and third. Good. You know what is nice about that? That the second is it's not a window dressing where it didn't go from 50 to like 8 and 4. Right.
Look, Jake Wood really, really takes good care of the women bodybuilders, and you know what? They're very lucky to have him because they got rid of the Olympia before he was there, so he brought it back, and he's bringing money in. Now he did give away cars a few years before that. No cars this year, but
who's Jake's right hand man? Is it Dan? It's Dan, right?
Dan, yeah. I don't know if Dan's involved in this show though. Dan only kind of runs the Olympia, I'm pretty sure. So, but they did a great job. They roll out the red carpet for the women at this weekend every single year, and he's still doing it. And I'm sure, I'm sure this show does not make a lot of money. If it makes it probably loses money because he gives away so much prize money. So this is a love of the sport, that Jake does this. And whenever I see people do that, selflessly because they're giving back to the sport, that's great. It's great that people can still, make sure that the sport survives by, giving the women bodybuilders a chance to make a lot of money. And it inspires them to train harder. And like you said, the level of competition has come up. And the reason probably is the fact that there's prize money here. when this prize money is at stake, you're going to get better competitors going into these women bodybuilding shows, showing up in better shape because they want to win the money. And that raises the level of, what we're seeing. And so kudos to everyone all around on that one.
Jake is the patron saint of female bodybuilding.
Exactly. Oh my God. So yeah, that was a good weekend for those ladies. And there was some other divisions too. Let me see if I could pull those up a little bit here. So where's the next show you're going to?
Olympia.
So you're actually taking a break for a couple of weeks. That's good. You need that.
I only go to like 4 shows a year.
Jessica Padilla won the figure. Adair Lebrecht won the bikini. Stephanie Jones won the fitness division in the pro. And wellness was won by Eduarda Becerra. And in women's physique, it was Jody Marchik. So all those ladies qualify for the Olympia. They'll be going there in, as Chris pointed out, 7 weeks' time. All right, what else do we have to talk about here? Let's see what else is going on. Oh, so there's a big controversy now. I guess maybe it was on Dennis James' show. They were talking about, who's going to be top 5 at the Olympia and, where's Nick Walker going to fall in all this. And I guess some guys had him out of the top 5. And I guess Nick Walker wasn't too happy about that, which I wouldn't have been either if I was Nick Walker. What do you think about that? What do you think about that statement now that we have guys like Andrew Jack, who's being considered possibly a favorite to win the Olympia even? We have the Hotties and the Derricks in there. We have the Samson coming back. We have a lot of talent. It's a very deep lineup this year. We have some new guys in there. We have, what's his name, who almost beat Nick in New York. Why am I blocking out his name?
Martin Fitzwater.
Yeah, Martin Fitzwater. Thank you. Oops. And Milos and Vlad Milos and Vlad Sukaro had Nick out of the top 5 in their predictions. Where do you have Nick?
I have him 11th.
Chris, don't start trouble.
Nick is going to place where Nick is, in my mind, a shoo-in for top 5.
Right.
And I just don't know where he places, but he has potential to be much higher than 5th.
Right.
I don't think. I think there's some poses that there may be one pose or two, one that he's not really strong at, but other people have poses where, frankly, they're not strong at, and he has some poses where he's close-ish to. I wouldn't say dominating on, but he has some poses where he will catch the most experienced judge's eyes. That being potentially, I think he's got a great side tricep. I think he's got a great side chest. I think he's got a great back double. I think he's got a great front double. I think he's got a great most muscular. To talk about him not being in a factor for the top 5 seems to me like ludicrous, because he carries a lot of muscle, and the Olympia is still about muscle.
Yeah.
The Olympia is about muscle.
Right.
Period. And it's about conditioned muscle, but it's still about muscle. And he's shown that at every show he's competed at, he's either in very good condition or superlative condition. So you're not factoring in like, well, remember he was off, at XYZ show. And if he comes in like that, then, that's where he's going to place.
Right.
I don't think you can make that argument against him. So
what do you think? What do you think of Milos's predictions? Hottie 1st, Samson 2nd, Derrick 3rd, Beiruz 4th, Andrew Jack 6th, 5th, and Nick 6th.
NVIDIA is coming out with their earnings on the 28th. And every analyst who thinks they're professional is coming out with different numbers. So it's either going to move the market up or it's going to move the market down. We don't know. In other words, it's predictions. Nobody knows the numbers, and nobody knows how we're going to look on stage.
But it's fun to make predictions.
It's fun to make predictions, but I would not have Nick, and it's hard to make predictions. I mean, it's easy to make a prediction, but it's hard because it's just total speculation. But I would speculate that Nick Walker will be at his best.
Okay. I think if Nick Walker shows up like he did in New York, I know Nick said to me when I interviewed him after he thought he was the best he ever looked, but I don't think he really believes that. If you looked at the pictures after, I've seen Nick tighter than that. And I know that Nick will come in harder for the Olympia. And I don't think that's even debatable. I don't think that Nick will not be in the top 5. You know why? Because when we handicap these shows, and it's very important for people to understand this, when we handicap these shows and we try to make predictions, we assume that everyone is at their best. And the truth is that no one's ever at their best. I mean, there's always people that screw up. Okay. I've never seen a lineup where every guy that we picked in the top 5 or 6 was showed up at their absolute best. It just doesn't happen. There's always something that goes wrong. Nick Walker is probably one of the most consistent guys that I've ever seen compete. So there's no way he's not in the top 5 because I know that he will be his best and someone else will screw up, at least 2 people. So I don't think Nick Walker is any worse than 4th if I have to pick where he falls. Now, it's hard for me to pick where the other guys fall because I don't know how they're going to show up, but I know he'll be his best. No way he's worse than 4th. I would not be surprised if he's 3rd place at the Olympia. I don't think he's going to win this year. I don't think Hadi will ever lose to Nick Walker because I don't think that Hadi comes in out of shape either. He's another guy who you can bet your bottom dollar will be in that top 3 because he will be shredded to the bone. And you know what? We've never really seen, since Derek's been in the Open, we've never seen him off either, really. So I can't imagine those 3 guys being off. Now, when we talk about Samson Dowda, we've seen him off a lot. Matter of fact, I don't think we've ever seen him at his best yet. So if I have to pick someone who could potentially be knocked out of the top 3 this year, it would be Samson because he's not as consistent. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a great physique. It means that he's not that consistent. But doesn't mean he can't come in at his best, all-time best, and win the show, too. Andrew Jack, after seeing him in Texas and knowing that you're working with him, I have a hard time not putting him in my top 3 either because he's that good. And, and I wouldn't, if I was a betting man, I could even put a bet for him to win the show. It'd surprise a lot of people because he's that good and he's improved that much. Having said that, and then I see that also Milos had Beirut Tabani. I don't think that Beirut has got the size. He's got freakiness. I don't think structurally he can stand with the other guys we've just been talking about. But we'll find out, What do you think about my analysis?
I mean, I think you're just throwing out facts.
Yeah.
And the rest is just conjecture, like on the placings, I mean, Hadi's going to be hard. Derek's going to be hard. I think Beirut looks great. I think Samson is, a wild factor in terms of, what he's going to look like. I'm sure he'll look great. He'll probably be improved as well. I thought he looked great at the Olympia last year. I thought in some poses, he was most muscular, at the night show. I thought your eyes go to him. Side chest was very impressive. Side tricep was very impressive. I think he got put away on the back shots versus Derek and Hadi. And maybe standing and the front double too, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
I think he struggled a little bit with Derek and Hadi.
Yeah, I agree. So I want to bring up, by the way, our good friend Ralph Torelli, who used to run the gym where he used to train, who's very good friends with Vince Taylor, reminded me that today Vince Taylor is 68 years old.
Is his memory as good as Skip's, who's 80?
I wouldn't doubt it. And Ralph is actually born on the same day as Vince. Did you know that? And Ralph is 58, so he's 10 years younger. He's like in our age range, I should say. And Vince Taylor, can you believe it? You think we'll ever see Vince Taylor on stage again?
He probably could do a pretty decent comeback because I mean, you've seen pictures of him at 60, he was impressive. Big shoulders on lean.
There he is with his was that his Masters Olympia medal? Yeah.
Is that a current picture of him?
I think so, yeah. He still looks like he's about 30, right? Unbelievable. And this is also the 7th year anniversary of Rich Piana passing, according to Ralph as well. So it's insane how fast things go, right? Time flies. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 43 years ago, I was walking to the University of Maine at 4 a.m. to meet Skip.
Oh my God. So anyway, we'll send my prayers out to Rich's mom, Christine, who I talked to. 7 years, lost Rich Piana. It's, what one thing that I figured out is that time doesn't stop for anything or anyone. One day you're, something terrible happens, and then before you know it, it's 10 years later already. And
that, you're not guaranteed tomorrow in this life. No.
We got a tip. Hold on. Is that John Scuderi? Let's see what the tip is. $10. What? $9.99. Wow. Nick's weaknesses have been exposed. Now the judges and fans will fixate on them, compounded by the fact that the competition is on point. Who will fade out of top 5 if structure leaves too much to be desired. That's our friend John Scuderi's opinion. And for $10, he gets me to read it on the air. Thank you. I will send Valentino 25 cents out of that.
And we haven't seen funny, Hunter Labrada's name's not mentioned in part of top 5. That's good for Hunter because it takes the pressure off.
Absolutely. That's Hunter's going to be graduating in He's going to be competing in Italy. When is that? Next week?
I think it is
September 8th. 2 weeks, September 8th. Yeah. And then we have that UK Pro show in London.
Yeah.
On the 14th, 15th.
It lasts to the 3 weeks.
And that's the last qualifier, I believe, right there. So 2 more shows. Hunter Labrada waiting till the last minute. Not sure that's a great idea, but obviously, I don't know who's left. Who else is going to be in that show, you think?
I don't know. The only reason it's not a good idea is simply that if you get sick the last week, legit sick, and you can't make it to the show, I'm just talking just genuine sickness. People get sick.
Mm-hmm.
They're eating crappy chicken, all the way through their diet. I mean, let's say, or they're eating the same fish, and their immune system's just toast at the end of the diet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do, not a lot of people. That's why people do get sick towards the end, is because their immune system's shot.
Yeah.
Because they're just over dieted, or dieting on edge, and overtrained or training on edge, and you just frazzled living off energy drinks, and you get sick and you can't do the show. That's the only risk.
Yeah, of waiting till the last minute. You mean,
yeah, and say there's no qualifier.
Is Rubio Mascara going to be in that show too? That's what I'm hearing right here.
I think he. Someone told me that, or England, or.
I wouldn't, and I think I'm hearing, is Nathan the Escher going to be in there too? Ruby is slated to compete at UK. Vlad Saruko intends on competing at the UK Pro as well, waiting on that's in.
I have Vlad in the top 5 in that show because he didn't have.
So it's going to be Hunter versus Rubio in Italy. Assuming Hunter wins, then Rubio will go to UK. Okay, that makes sense, Sid. Interesting. Speaking of getting sick and eating disgusting food, probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen is that, remember when I was dating Colette, when she was competing at one show, and she had this made fish. Like, I think we had left like on a Thursday, And now it's Sunday, and we're leaving, and I was going to the refrigerator. I'm like, what's in this Tupperware container? And I open it up, Chris, and the smell that came out of that container was stifling. It was so terrible. The fish, I think she had it out of the refrigerator most of the day, and then she just threw it back in there like the Saturday night. It almost knocked me unconscious. It was so bad. I said, I'm throwing this stuff out. Matter of fact, I'm throwing the container out too, because if we dumped it, the fish, it's going to stink up the whole hotel room. She's like, what are you, crazy? I'm eating that. I said, there's no way any human being could eat this fish. And she ate it, and she didn't even get sick, Chris. So I don't necessarily believe in food poisoning.
Dave, do you remember Marina Pacific Hotel?
Yes, of course. I loved it. I stayed there all the time.
Jay went out there one year. You can ask him. He cooked fish like 4 meals a day in the room.
Right.
For like a month. He said he went back there to stay like 2 months later, and the hallway still smelled like fish.
Oh, from all the fish he cooked? Yeah. Yeah, but there was a lot of bodybuilders who stayed at that hotel. It was like 20. If you knew someone, it was like $29 a night. You couldn't go wrong there.
Yeah, Joe Bucci. You know Joe Bucci.
Yeah, no Joe Bucci. But there was another guy there too, Robin Parker. Remember Robin Parker, the bodybuilder?
Oh yeah, Robin Parker. Yeah.
Robin Parker knew this guy. I think his name was Guy. There was a guy who ran the hotel for Joe Bucci, and he would give you, if you knew him, $29 a night. If you wanted to stay in the double suite with the extra room, it was $39 a night. And I remember I stayed there like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and Nicole Bass was in the room next to me, and her and Bob Hughes were fighting nonstop every fucking day.
Nicole Bass would go up for the entire summer and spend.
Yeah. I know. And Lee's right. The cafe at the Marina Pacific there, which was called the Cafe Venice, had the best breakfasts of all time, and everyone was there. It was I couldn't wait to go down there. I wanted to eat every meal there because there was so many stars and famous people would go in there and eat. And it was like 4 tables in the whole restaurant,
Jay nicknamed it the Marina Dump because it was a crap hotel.
Oh, it was, but it was cheap though, and it was on the beach. How could you go wrong with that?
I think they upgraded. Someone bought it, and because I googled it once, and I think I think someone put like millions into it or something.
Oh yeah, they have a big club on the roof now.
Yeah.
It's called, what is it called? I forget the name of it. It's shit. I stayed there once as the new name. It was expensive, and the rooms weren't that much nicer. They made them a little nicer, but it's.
Joe, we used to put people up there for like a month at a time.
Yeah, because it's cheap. Yeah, Lee said it's very expensive now. What do you say? I looked into staying there for a week. It was almost $1,400. What is it called now, Lee? I can't remember the name of that thing. It's right on the tip of my tongue too. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, just say it, Lee. You know the name of it. Someone will look it up for us. Anyway, yeah, that was a landmark place. So people would eat breakfast there. There was that Joni's coffee roaster on Washington over there. I used to see a lot of bodybuilders at. There was the Firehouse. There was Kookaroo across the street from the Firehouse. And then there was Jerry's Deli, which I would see people at like 1 a.m. there. I used to see Bob Ciccarello there when I would go visit. He was eating there all the time.
What's the high-end hotel? You ever eat you ever go to the buffet breakfast at Lowe's?
No, I didn't. That's one thing I never did.
Okay, Dave, in 1990.
The Irwin. That's what the hotel's called now, the Irwin.
The buffet was $50 in 1993.
Oh, wow. That's expensive. Yeah.
My gosh. 1993?
Mango's Ear. Yeah, that was another one. You can go 2 a.m. to that place. You ever eat there, Chris?
No.
So the Lowe's in 93 was $50 for the buffet?
Yeah. I can't believe Kookaroo didn't I thought it was the greatest chicken place in the history of chicken.
Yeah. Kookaroo. Right? Here's a trivia question. What was Kookaroo called prior to Kookaroo?
I don't know.
Can Lee answer that question? Because I know Lee was there before it was Kookaroo.
What was there before it was Kookaroo?
Yeah, what was there? It was like a weird sign there, I remember. It was across the street from the Firehouse. What the hell was that? What was it before it was Kookaroo? They said the Irwin is now almost $400 a night. That's crazy.
From 29 to 400.
That is insane. and now you have like an extra. They put an extra sheet on the bed. Probably that's why you're getting extra. I'm telling you, I stayed there. It wasn't that much nicer than what it was when we were there. And when we were there was, if you remember, there was a kitchen in there. You can cook.
Yeah, that's why the bodybuilder. I mean, it was like a dream place for bodybuilding. You could walk to the gym in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and no one walked to the gym, but yeah, you could walk to the gym. I put in a week stay at the Irwin. It's 4,677 Australian dollars. Oh my God. I don't know what it was. It was like there was a weird sign outside that where the place was before Kookaroo. I don't know if anyone ever went in there. It was, that's why I'm asking you, Lee, because you lived there. I just used to see it.
And Arnold's restaurant's long gone, right?
Shotzi?
Yeah.
I think it might still be there, or right? No?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ate there, right? Except Arnold, probably.
Yeah, I ate there. Fantastic. I thought it was fantastic.
You ate at Shotzi? What was it? Was it Austrian food?
What's the steak when it's inside the pastry?
I don't know. What is it called?
Lee? Someone must know from the show. When they have a filet mignon and it's wrapped in a pastry, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the name of that is called.
Not beef Wellington. Is it beef Wellington? I think it may be. You have to Google it.
Lee said it was some kind of convenience type store, deli type. Don't forget that under the yogurt place run by the Chinese guy, everyone used to go there. It was called Sparky's.
Oh yeah, Sparky's. Sparky's. Yeah.
Lee, no, beef Wellington. He said you were right, Lee, Chris. So it's funny that Lee knows every eating place in Venice. He's been to them all, especially off season. So.
Yeah, I went to Shotzi's twice. Arnold was there once, and he was in the cigar lounge with his buddy.
Oh, was there a cigar lounge in the back?
They had a special glassed off room. It was Arnold's place where he would go and hang out and smoke. The rest.
Lee said, Jesus Christ, Chris has a tape over this light switch. Now he's hanging his bills to be paid under the light switch.
I probably do.
He's going crazy.
I have notes underneath there and stuff. I have sticky notes everywhere, Dave. I'll tell you, this is how I operate.
Yeah, I liked Fresh to Go too, Lee, right next to Max Muscles. Yeah.
That's my sticky notes, just in case I run out. So that.
Oh my God, you have. That's funny. You know, Chris, I have a big thing of that too, because all my snakes that I breed, I put a different sticky note on each one, like I color coded according to what it is.
Well, there you go. Of course you do. So I got green, yellow, pink. I get the Roy G. Biv, red, orange.
Yeah. The whole rainbow. Yeah, the whole rainbow. I'm sure the Pride people will be happy. Lee's, it's very early there. Lee's firing on all cylinders already. Holy shit. But yeah, I think the Olympia is going to be really good. I was talking to Mel. I was at Mel's show this week, and Mel Chansey had his summer classic or whatever he calls it. And I was there yesterday, and we were chatting, and he's like, "Yeah, the Olympia I guess it's a smaller arena this year. It only holds, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 people, but they sold that thing out so fast. I bet they wish they had held it in a bigger arena."
Yeah, well, it's seats. So you can't fold up, like those fold up chairs. They can't say, okay, so-and-so's coming last minute. We need 5 seats and just put them on the floor.
Wayne would do that all the time, though, wouldn't he? The fold out chairs?
Yeah, fold it out.
We need to sell 10 more tickets. Get the fold out chairs,
Call what's it? Rent, easy rent.
Yeah. What is that's the theater, right? Sid's got the theater up there.
Well, Samir reminds me that it's the 60th anniversary, and they're going to have. I talked to Samir yesterday, and Samir reminds me that they're going to have all the probably. I know he's going to be there. They're going to probably have some type of recognition of all the previous Olympias, because it's such a big year. It's a milestone.
Yeah, it's a shame that we lost a lot of them. Unfortunately.
I did text Ben Weider's secretary and said maybe there's a chance we'll get it into the Olympics. Did you know, Dave, by the way, that Carl Lewis flunked multiple drug tests that Ben Johnson flunked?
Yeah, I heard they had swept him under the carpet or something like that, made up some BS.
I mean, and Ben was running around begging, groveling.
Yeah.
And you know what they would say to him? Yeah, sport has, and I'm doing Ben's voice. Yeah, sport, you know, you know, drugs. And Ben would say, well, we be happy. And that Wilkins, to administer the testing underwater. And, meanwhile, the stars are flunking. They're like, shh, don't say anything.
Yeah, well, Carl Lewis was a big name in the Olympics. Right? He was endorsed by everyone.
Give Ben Weeder. Give Ben, not Ben. Who's the guy from Canada? Ben Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Medal back.
You know what? The whole thing is a joke with the drug testing. You know what it is? It's whoever gets caught. That's all. It's like it's a game of chance.
Well, I mean, I said it before.
Russian roulette is what you're playing. Russian roulette. What is it? They said, what did Lee write? They said Ben Johnson only ran fast because he took Winchell. In that case, the Olympic lineup should be winning gold medal sprinting. No, you're right, of course. See, the problem, Lee, is that what people don't understand, the general public, is they think that if you test negative and you don't fail the drug test, that you're not on drugs. And what we know is that it's a drug-tested Olympia. It's not a drug-free Olympia. It's a drug-tested, which means that you have to pass the test. If you pass the test, then you can do whatever you want. If you don't pass the test, then they spank you and they embarrass you in front of the world. So it's a risky business you're in.
It's more deviant than that. They didn't want to, they didn't want to flunk Carl Lewis,
right?
Boy, because it gives the entire and they didn't want to flunk, like there were like 200 people who flunked that year.
Yeah.
Because they never had the Olympics, so they have to like shove it down people's throats that it's like
right.
People.
The biggest farce was remember when Patrick Arnold created the clear, all the American athletes, all the sprinters at least, were using it for the Australia Olympics, and they didn't even need to stop it because it was undetectable. So God, really, that Olympics should have an asterisk on it too, because who knows, whoever was using that stuff was obviously at a great disadvantage, because not only were they using drugs, but they actually didn't have to worry about getting caught using the drugs that they were using, which made it even easier. Whereas normally you had to go through, we got to stop, certain days out. We have to make sure we don't get caught. We got to avoid the drug testers when they come to the house. This was like, people they didn't even care. They had it like they were carrying it around like it was like the
200. This is how it worked, I'm sure. The 200 samples came back, and like 220, they had 200 out of 220 that year who flunked. And they said, you know what, we'll lose all our sponsorships. So they said, just throw them all away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's just penalize one guy to like show that we are serious about this testing.
Right. And who better to penalize than
Canadian
Armstrong? Lance was the look. Lance was hated by everyone because he was very arrogant and and he was a tyrant. But so they loved bringing him down because people didn't mind that he was brought down, and they used him as the sacrificial lamb. The bottom line is that it doesn't matter if he took the drugs or not. Everyone was on the same drugs, especially the cyclists are the worst drug offenders of all time. And he just happens to be the greatest cyclist of all time. He always will be. You can put an asterisk next to his name, take his medals away, take his wins away. He's still the greatest cycler of all time, When I read a book on him, and he went to the Cooper Clinic. You know what the Cooper Clinic is?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they test you, your aerobic capacity there. And one of the things they test when they're testing your ability to, produce energy when you're pedaling, or whatever your sport is they test your ability to buffer lactic acid. Now, why is that important? Well, when your body is using glucose as a fuel source, as the waste product is lactic acid. And we know this is bodybuilding when we're doing curls and we feel that burn in the muscle and you stop because of the burn. That's the lactic acid build. It's a waste buildup. But we all have an ability to buffer that. Buffer means is to neutralize the acidity so that it takes away the burn. The more you can neutralize that lactic acid waste product and that burning feeling, the more you can exercise at a greater level. they said in all the years of all the people they tested at the Cooper Clinic, no one buffers lactic acid as well as Lance Armstrong. He's like 25% better than the average person, which means that genetically he doesn't feel pain. He feels 25% less pain doing the same exertional work as everyone else. So when he's climbing a mountain and everyone wants to die, he can go 25% harder than they can and not feel, and will feel the same pain, only at 25% more. So he's unbeatable. He's unbeatable because of that. And so he's like the equivalent of like the Ronnie Coleman of the cycling world. So if there was no steroids, who would be Mr. Olympia the most times? Ronnie Coleman. He would have won Mr. Olympia probably 25 times if there was no steroids, because he's genetically superior to everyone. Same thing with Lance Armstrong. That's why when they start saying, "Oh, he only won the Tour de France 7 times because he took EPO and whatever else, small little smidgens of things he was taking," it's almost disrespectful to say that.
The other thing is, you can dumb it down to this too. If you ask anonymously, you've seen that study of that poll. Like if you ask, 500 athletes at the elite level if they could take an anabolic and allow them to win, it would call it, whatever, detrimental, blah blah, whatever, however they want to call it,
be dead in 10 years. They all said to do it. Yeah.
Would they take it? And everyone says yes.
Yeah.
In the real world, the real question is, it's not even that. It's yes, and by the way, I'm taking it.
Yeah, right. By the way, Lee, if you're right, if there was a natural Olympia, it would have been Lee Priest, Ronnie Coleman, Sean Roden, and Greg Valentino would have been vying for the Olympia title. By the way, did I tell you that Greg got his gallbladder removed, Chris? I don't know if I told you that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't think so. Anyway, congratulations to Andrea Yo, for winning the Rising Phoenix show, winning $50,000, qualifying for the Olympia. Well, she probably was already qualified because she placed second last year, and it's going to be a great battle in the women's bodybuilding division at the Olympia. Next week, we will have the Italy Pro, or 2 weeks, we'll have the Italy Pro. Next week is the North American Championships. Anyone's going to be in Pittsburgh that weekend, come see me. I'll be there the whole weekend. I'm there Wednesday through Monday. It's a very long show, multiple days. I have a lot of athletes in the show, so I'm going out there to help them out. And it's going to be a great weekend. I haven't been to Pittsburgh in quite a while. Maybe I'll get a bite to eat with Jim Mannion if he has a free moment, and get to catch up with all the boys. Gary Udit will be, running around like a lunatic. It's, you ever see Gary? When Gary is one of the greatest promoters, I'll tell you why. Because not only does Gary run the show, but if you're there, like before the show starts, he's there. He's setting chairs up. He does everything. He's not like just the guy giving orders out. He's working too when he's at these shows. And sometimes he even MCs the show if the MC doesn't show up. So Gary, the North American and the Masters Nationals, I don't see anyone doing a better job than Gary Udit.
Are there competitions on Wednesday?
There is.
We used to make fun years ago on this show.
Yeah.
Like a 2-day show. We used to say, just go to 4 and 5.
Chris, I think there's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 5 days.
Because there were so many competitors. So
yeah, we're up to 5 days. It's Sunday too. It's the show. They got North Americans, Masters North Americans, and they got the pro divisions too up there, the Masters Pro divisions.
Crazy.
Anyway, I'll see everyone in Pittsburgh this weekend. We are out of time. Chris, as we say every week with Heavy Muscle Radio.
The truth hurts.
Sure does. We'll see you guys next week.